this story that came out from, it actually showed up in Defense One first. Western Journal covered it as well. This a gentleman by the name of James Jeffrey, who I have to admit is something of an enigma to me, and it's not just because I can't remember his title. Let me get his title first, because this is impressive. State Department Special Representative for Syria Engagement and Special Envoy to the Global Coalition to Defeat ISIS. And not only did I have to make sure that was written down, I had to take a deep breath to get that out.
He's really important.
He's really important. Now, this is a guy in 2016, he signs that famous Never Trumper letter by former intel officials saying this guy shouldn't, I think it was in August of 2016.
What's he doing working?
So in 2018, he joins the Trump administration.
Who let him in?
It's fascinating to me. And the other thing, and to his credit, before I shellac him, to his credit, as he's retiring, which is part of why they did this interview with Defense One, and he credited Donald Trump with his Mideast policy. He said, the former policies, the Bush and Obama policies did not work. He said, Bush's policy of direct engagement in Iraq, et cetera, did not work. The Obama concession speech in Egypt did not work. In fact, one of the things he said he liked about the idea of a Biden administration, a hypothetical Biden administration, is that he couldn't see Biden making either of those speeches. So, for whatever that's worth, the guy's kind of interesting
Kamala
to
Harris
me, though.
could.
The guy is interesting to me because he has, kind of both those positions. But here's what he said that really just ticked me off. And I was thinking about this at lunch today, and I had to stop thinking about it because I just kept getting madder and madder.
By the way, I thought about it when I read the article. And, George, let me just say to you, hats off to your team for writing this article.
Together. Well,
this was great, and it made me as angry as you. Now tell us
here's
how
why.
angry you are.
Here's why. Let me just quote James Jeffrey. I'm not going to say his title again. We don't have enough time left in the show. And this is about troop deployments in Syria. You guys will remember that in 2019, Donald Trump said, we're pulling out of Syria. It's a mess. We're going to get out. Here's what James Jeffrey said about that. We were always playing shell games to not make clear to our leadership how many troops we had there.
Unbelievable.
That... In essence, we lied to the commander-in-chief, the duly elected president of the United States, because we thought we knew better what to do in Syria. Now, look, you may be the world's greatest expert on Syria, James Jeffrey. I have no idea. I'm not even going to argue that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's an elected official. The people of the United States said, we want to make this guy commander-in-chief. And that means... the people said to you, James Jeffrey, we want you to do what he says when it comes to military policy in Syria. Who the hell are you to decide, no, not going to do that? In fact, not only are we going to disobey those direct orders, we're going to lie about them. We're just going to pretend that we've gotten our troop level down to whatever it was Trump had authorized, 200 and something, if I recall correctly, when the presence is probably more like about 1,000 troops in Syria to this day. It's it's illegal. This guy should be prosecuted. It is unconscionable. I mean, if this guy weren't retired, I'd be demanding to be fired.
So this goes to something that I've been saying repeatedly. I'm not sure Donald Trump was ever really president. Okay? Because from before he got in, the deep state was battling him, spying on him, trying to impeach him, trying to keep him from being able to execute his policies from the very beginning, at least in the area of foreign policy. The deep state, in many regards, fought Donald Trump to a draw in his own government. He was never really president over the State Department and these other agencies.
When we're talking about draining the swamp, this is what we're talking about. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but it doesn't take a conspiracy theory guy to recognize that there are thousands, tens of thousands of unelected career bureaucrats in D.C. with their hands on the controls. And who are really exercising power and exercising way too much power. This is not what the founders intended for this country. It never was. These people are unaccountable to the electorate, to you and me. They're essentially anonymous to us. We don't. I never heard of James Jeffrey before this, and he has the power to lie to the president and make sure there are, say 4 times as many American soldiers in Syria as the president said there should be.
Yeah. And the part about this that upsets me the most is that the mainstream media and liberals, even with all of this, they're still going to call us conspiracy theorists every time we talk about the deep state, every time we talk about these things. And this is happening. This happens all the time.
Remember where that
the mainstream media not covering this story, by the way.
But
They're not talking about this guy
where
at all.
that term, quote, conspiracy theorist came from. Okay, it came from the JFK assassination. It was never used before then. And they had this phony baloney report that they wrote. And they said anybody that doesn't believe this report is a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they decided it was a lone gunman that shot JFK, and it was Lee Harvey Oswald, and they tell you where he shot him from.
Right.
And yet, if you say one word different than that, and people from the left and the right have been saying a lot of words different from that from the very beginning. I mean, this whole notion that you can't investigate or think or,
question
authority.
You can't
question authority. But, Donald Trump never got a moment's peace.
Right.
In 4 years, never a moment's peace. And he was fighting everybody, including the people in his own White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll ask you, Michael, because you're the younger of the youngest of the three of us.
Okay.
Not by much, but, by a few months.
Couple decades.
I think you got a few months on me. What do you think the younger population would least prefer to be called? Would they rather be labeled a conspiracy theorist or a science denier? Which one of those is the bigger sin among millennials and Gen Xers?
Science denier is the bigger sin by
Really?
far. They'd much rather be conspiracy
Really?
theorists. Yeah.
Really?
Science denier is a dirty, loaded term. Conspiracy theorists, conspiracies can be fun and all that stuff. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists on both sides, but yeah. The science denial stuff basically just means you're conservative to most people. So
Yeah.
even though that's completely false.
It's ridiculous.